prayer. So in this prayer, he is saying, he's talking about how the Lord appears through the lower systems of worship according to one's desires, and he appears as the demigods, as the devatas. And his prayers is, because the devatas are representatives of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and in the purport further Prabhupada writes that less intelligent people worship the devatas thinking that the devatas are the Supreme Lord, but actually it is not. That is their less intelligent understanding. So Daksha is saying, I do not want to see the Supreme Personality of Godhead in the form of devatas. I want to see the Supreme Personality of Godhead in his original form. What is the use of the other forms? And may the original Supreme Personality of Godhead fulfill my desires. Manorathan. I have some desire, and Prabhupada very nicely writes, Manoratham means desire. That's the actual meaning of Manoratham. But Prabhupada is writing in the synonyms, Manoratham bracket, Manoratham desire bracket for devotional service. So it's very nicely put there. So our desires should be only to increase our devotional service for the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And this is very appropriate, obviously, because Prabhupada is writing, because if Daksha, who has realized that the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Krishna, is the original personality and he's desiring to see him, so for a person who has realized that the Supreme Lord is Krishna, his only desire can be for devotional service. Because when you go to Krishna, you should just ask for bhakti and nothing else. It's just like Prabhupada explains, if you go to a king and you ask the king says, okay, I'm happy with your presence, now ask what you want. The king is giving a boon to his subject. And the subject says, please give me a pinch of ash. So that's not an intelligent inquiry. A pinch of ash is available anyway. Why you have to go to the king to ask a pinch of ash? If you go to the king, your ask should be, give me half your kingdom. That is an intelligent ask. So similarly, when you go to Krishna, you should not ask Krishna, satisfy my this desire, give me good money, give me good family, free me from this thing, free me from... No, because this is like a pinch of ash. Just imagine the comparison. We can very easily understand the value of pinch of ash. It is worth nothing. So all material desires are like pinch of ash. Because they are very, very short-lived, and then these things will actually not relieve us from anxiety. In fact, these things will put us in greater anxiety. And the material existence continues. Birth, death, old age, disease, adhyatmik, adibhautik, adidevik, all kleshas continue. So when you go to Krishna, I want bhakti. Prabhupada says, Krishna can give you material desires very easily. He can give you even up to mukti, that impersonal liberation which is being spoken about in this verse. Krishna can give us even mukti, but bhakti he will not give so easily. Bhakti is a very special consideration. For bhakti, Krishna will see whether you are really desiring me. Are you genuinely wanting bhakti? Then Krishna will give you. So if we are sincere in our ask and we genuinely ask Krishna bhakti, Krishna will give us, and that is what we should ask. And this is exactly what Daksha is praying in this verse. So here, Prabhupada is writing in the purport that the living being does not actually know the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Krishna says, I know everyone, but me no one knows. In the Bhagavad Gita, Prabhupada is quoting. So, this is the root cause for our existence in this material world, for all our sufferings. The living being does not actually know the Supreme Personality of Godhead. We do not know Krishna. Now somebody may say, how can you say we do not know Krishna? I know Krishna. No? If you take a survey in India, majority of the population will say, I know Krishna. Right? India statistics of religious how many people are religious in India? The latest statistics says 94% of people in India are religious. It's a very big number. Only 6% are atheist. And there are some countries, there's one country where 91% people are atheistic and 9% only religious. So there are countries like this. So anyway, so we are 94% religious. So everybody will know Krishna because religious means Krishna, everybody knows. So how is Prabhupada writing? The living being does not actually know the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So Prabhupada nicely clarifies, we may know Krishna, we have just heard his name. Yes, I know Krishna, but we have not really understood Krishna. We do not know the signs of Krishna. Unless and until we understand Krishna, we understand the signs of Krishna, there is no meaning in knowing Krishna. Then knowing Krishna and asking Krishna for a pinch of ash, that will be the understanding. So if you know Krishna, you have to understand Krishna, and that is why Krishna spoke 700 verses in the Bhagavad Gita so that we can know him. Krishna, there are 18,000 verses in the Srimad Bhagavatam so that we can know him. So we have to know Krishna in tattvataha, in truth, in reality. We should have a sound understanding of Krishna. Only then we will get a desire to achieve him. Like in the whole purport Prabhupada is talking, people don't understand Krishna. Somebody is thinking he has a form, somebody is thinking he hasn't got a form, what form they don't know, or he has no form, or he's imaginary, or he's demigod. Different things people are thinking because they have not read or understood Krishna. And unless and until we know Krishna in fact, in truth, in reality, there is no liberation from this material world. That is why Krishna says, Janma karma cha me divyam evam yo veti tattvataha. Tattvataha means you have to understand Krishna in fact, in reality. There are so many places this word comes, tattvataha. So, tattvataha means you have to go and how do I know Krishna in tattvata, in reality? You have to go and approach a person who knows Krishna tattvataha. Tad vidhi pranipatena pariprashnena sevaya upadekshanti te jnanam jnaninas tattvadarshinah. That jnaninas, if you go surrender to him, serve him, that spiritual master, then you will come to know Krishna because jnaninas tattvadarshinah. He has seen the truth. That's why even Bhagavad Gita, although so many versions of Bhagavad Gita are available, hundreds of versions of Bhagavad Gita are available, and so many people read also Bhagavad Gita. 700 verses, they finished from beginning till end, they have finished the Bhagavad Gita, but they have not understood Krishna at all. Because the translation is not by a Tattvadarshinah. That's why Prabhupada very nicely positioned his Bhagavad Gita as Bhagavad Gita as it is, the way Krishna intended it to be understood. So it is coming in the Guru Parampara, and Prabhupada is a pure devotee. He is Tattvadarshina, he has understood, and if we understand Gita from him, then we will be able to understand Krishna. Then our memory about Krishna will be revived. The forgetful state that we are in will be revived. We will wake up. So we have to find out that Tattvadarshina. And it doesn't matter, Prabhupada very nicely explained. This was, during Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's time, there were caste Goswamis who were claiming to be, the Brahmanas, because just by their birth in the Brahmana community. And then Mahaprabhu gave this famous, it is there in the scriptures, and he quoted this, Kiba Vipra Kiva Nyashi Shudra Kenonoi Yei Krishna Tattva Veti Shei Guru Hoy. Again the same word, Tattva Veti. One who knows Yei Krishna Tattva Veti. Veti means knows. One who knows Krishna how? Tattva, in real fact. So we have to search out a spirit, and he can be Kiba Shudra, Kiba Nyashi, Shudra kenonai, Kiba Vipra. Vipra, he can be a learned Brahmana, he can be a sannyasi, he can be a Shudra, he can be anybody. But he has to understand Krishna in truth, and then if we approach him, we can understand Krishna. It can be a child also. Just like see Prahlad Maharaj, perfect example. He was a Tattvaveti, Dhruva Maharaj. He was a Tattva. Prahlad Maharaj was a Mahajana. And so nicely he understood Krishna. We know how Prahlad Maharaj became a Tattvaveti, a Mahajana, because he heard the Srimad Bhagavatam in the womb of his mother. So that is the power of hearing. While someone is imprisoned within the womb also, it can create an impact. Just imagine the power of Srimad Bhagavatam. He was born to Hiranyakashipu. But just by the blessings of Narad Muni spoke the Srimad Bhagavatam, a child born to Hiranyakashipu became such a great devotee. This is the power. This is the transformation Bhagavatam can bring in. Of course, it was all the plan of the Lord, but by this pastime we can understand the power of Srimad Bhagavatam. So Prahlad Maharaj, and his preaching was also very wonderful. He would just go to he was a small boy, 5-year-old boy. He would just go to the school and start talking about Krishna, start chanting Hare Krishna. So his father Hiranyakashipu would call him, and he would hear from him what he has learnt. And when he heard that this boy is learning chanting Hare Krishna and this is what he is preaching, he became very angry and upset. So he called his teachers and he said, "What are you teaching him? Why are you spoiling my child? He is learning chanting Hare Krishna. Who has taught him all these things?" And these two teachers were completely confused. If we are not teaching him, from where is he learning this chanting of Hare Krishna? Because he has become Tattva Darshina. He has realized just by hearing Bhagavatam, when he was born only he was a Tattva Darshina. So he's just repeating that. And he's converting all his friends also into devotees. So when the teacher heard that his father is asking, "Why are you spoiling my child?" Prabhupada very nicely in one lecture says that the teacher's response was, No, he's not only spoiling himself, he's spoiling the whole school. So, atheists cannot understand the value of Krishna consciousness. So this understanding Krishna and Tattvataha, simply two things we have to remember. Approach a bona fide personality, one who is Tattva Darshinaha, and how do you approach him? By surrendering to him. And how do you surrender to him? Simply by giving an oral reception, a patient, submissive, attentive oral reception. And you will know Krishna in full. Just hearing from the right source, patiently. Parikshit Maharaj is the best example. Just 7 days he heard from a Tattva Darshina from Shukdev Goswami and he became a self-realized soul. Just 7 days. Not more than that. So we have to hear attentively. So if we are convinced of this fact, this is the faith that we must have. I have to hear. Spiritual life means, that's why the 9 processes of devotional service, the first is Shravanam. In Kirtanam also, that's why Prabhupada always says, chanting is effective only if you hear the chanting. If you are not hearing our chanting, it will have some effect, but the real realization will not come in. So hearing is very, very important. So as devotees of Krishna consciousness, we have to be hankering for hearing. Hanker to hear. That is the first step. And the more you hear, you may say, no, there is no hankering for hearing in my heart, Prabhu. I am not getting any enthusiasm. So to develop that hankering for hearing, what we have to do? We have to simply hear as a matter of duty. Like Prabhupada, He writes in one of the lectures, initially when I was going to hear my Guru Maharaj Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, I could not understand him because his philosophy was so high. In one place Prabhupada writes, I could not understand 75% of what he was speaking. Just imagine. 75% Prabhupada says he could not understand, but still Prabhupada sat there and heard. Yes, he does not go away. I have noted him. He likes to hear.